What's up YouTube? Blue Collar Success here, and I've done a lot of videos on mobile welding and piping, starting a business, and today I wanted to talk about unions versus non-unions, some pros and cons. A lot of you are getting into the trades and maybe you're wondering if you should join a union. Is it really as hard as they say it is? Is it kind of like a good old boys club? So I was in the union for about 5 years, and I left for various reasons, but I'm still a pipe fitter in-house and I have my welding business on the side. And today I'm going to be going over some pros and cons of unions and whether you should join them. This is just my opinion, but if you think you should join them, join a union, then I would. Don't be afraid to go over, the pros and cons and really decide. But unions have a lot of benefits, especially in the labor trades, like plumbers, pipe fitters, electricians, iron workers, and so on. So let's get right into it. Pro number one, unions provide worker protections. In most U.S. states, non-union workers are at-will employees. In short, employers can fire employees for virtually any reason. Of course, there are limitations in place, such as discrimination. For union members, however, it's different. There must be just cause. It's not as simple as firing. In most instances, the type of decision must go through an arbitration or grievance procedure. Pro number two, unions promote higher wages, which is very true. As a journeyman pipe fitter, you make about almost $50 an hour where I live, which is pretty good, and plus the benefits are pretty good. So, and what unions do is they raise the wages of the non-unions because they have to compete somehow. I mean, otherwise everyone would go to a union, and so it ends up balancing everything out for the trades. Through collective bargaining, unions are able to secure higher wages and better benefits. That said, unionized workers are not only the ones that benefit from this. Employers have also raised wages for non-unionized workers in order to compete for talent, just like I said. Pro number three, unions are economic trendsetters. Before unions, weekends and provisions for workers do not really exist. This goes way back, but this is really important. Back in the day with the coal mines and everything, the workers got taken advantage of majorly. Even though the U.S. workforce has not been 100% unionized, unions do impact trends that benefit all workers. Other examples include the minimum wage, OSHA guidelines, and overtime rules. Some cons. Now I'm going to go into the cons. Unions require dues and fees that some workers don't want to pay. But it makes sense. You're paying for a lot of different stuff in the union. But workplaces with unions fall into two categories, open and closed. What's the difference between the two? Open shops don't require employees to pay dues or fees to the union. In a closed environment, employees have to be union members in order to apply for a job. So I was in the closed for the pipe fitters union in my area. I had to either be in the union or not even be a pipe fitter. So I had to pay dues, weekly dues that came out of my check. Some allow employees to work as non-members, but those workers are required to pay agency fees, which contribute to the work that the union is doing. Opponents say closed environments are unfair to those individuals who have valid reasons for not supporting the work of a union. So that's one con, but I mean, you're getting what you pay for, and you get the business agents and all the leadership within the union. Labor unions discourage individuality. Workers are bound by decisions of the union even if they disagree with the decision. This was a big one for me. In some instances, the only way a unionized employee can get out of the situation is to resign, which isn't always an option. Also, working in groups encourages groupthink situations, which discourage individual creativity. Con number three, unions make it harder to promote and terminate workers. Unions focus a lot on the seniority of the worker. This often translates into the lack of advancement for new and high-performing employees to advance. This wasn't really the case with where I worked. It depends on the contractor you worked for, but it was honestly, where I worked, I enjoyed the time I spent there. Con number four, unions can drive up costs. This is more in regards to public sector unions, but though it is a pro that unions can get higher compensation for their members, it can likewise be stated that hiring unionized workers can be more expensive, which is true. I mean, if a bunch of plumbers are bidding on a construction job and electricians and they're unionized, their benefits package is probably double than what a non-union worker is, so the whole project is going to cost more. In conclusion, this isn't to change your position. I'm just informing those who maybe are young, still in high school, and thinking about whether they should go union or non-union. It's a personal decision, but do your research. Really look into it, and just ask people who are in the union. You can ask me questions about it. I enjoyed my time while I was in it, but I just left, like I said, for various other reasons. I found a really good paying job in-house that was more stable and secure, because construction is kind of not so much secure. You can get laid off pretty frequently. So it's up to you guys, but I recommend if you're just starting out and you want to basically start a business eventually, then I would join a labor union, because it gets you that really good experience. The training in the union is second to none. The training I received in the union and part of the training school was just phenomenal. I became a very good welder. I became very knowledgeable in order to further advance my career. So, with that being said, I would join a union if it came down to it, just because of the training is very good, and you will become a much better tradesman, whatever your trade is, over time. With that, I'm out. Thanks for watching.